She was never mine by blood, but from the moment I held her, she became mine in every way that mattered. I met Claire when her daughter was just a few weeks old. It wasn't serious between us at first. Casual dinners, the occasional weekend together. But when she told me she had a newborn at home, something shifted. Most people might have backed away. I didn't. I leaned in. By the time the little girl could walk, I was already a permanent fixture in their lives. We married when she was 2, and when she turned 5, I adopted her legally. But I was already her dad long before the paperwork caught up. I remember the exact moment she called me that for the first time. We were driving home from preschool. She wanted a dog. "Please, Dad," she said offhandedly, like it had always been that way. I had to pull the car over because I couldn't see through the tears. That word, Dad, landed in my chest like a miracle. From scraped knees to science projects, piano recitals to heartbreaks, I was there. Every moment, every late-night worry, every fever, every birthday. She was my daughter, not because of DNA, because I chose her, because I loved her. When she turned 19, she came to me one evening with a question I'd always known would eventually come. Who is my real father? Claire and I had agreed years ago that we wouldn't lie. Just wait until the time was right. I told her what I knew. His name. The little Claire had shared about him. He had walked away before she was born. I figured that would be the end of it. It wasn't. A month later, she was gone. Not physically, but emotionally. She found him. His name was Mark. He'd apparently turned his life around. Found faith, gotten clean. Her social media was full of smiling photos with him, the kind of closeness that looked effortless. In less than 2 months, she had erased me. No more calls. No texts. She didn't come home for holidays. I sent her a card for her 21st birthday. It was returned, unopened. Claire and I divorced the following year. Not because of Elena exactly, but losing her surfaced every unresolved tension between us. Claire insisted she just needed time, that she still loved me. But it didn't feel like love. Felt like being thrown away. 6 years passed. Then last December, I received a single-line email. "I need to talk." I didn't respond. Not because I was angry, because I wasn't ready. 2 weeks later, she came to my doorstep. She looked older, more tired, but her smile still had that familiar curve. "I'm getting married," she said. "His name's Daniel. He's wonderful." I told her congratulations, not sure what she wanted from me. Then she asked if I'd walk her down the aisle. "Why not Mark?" I asked. Her eyes dropped. "He passed away. In August. Heart attack." And there it was. Not a gesture of reconciliation. Not love. Just a role that needed filling. A space left vacant. I told her calmly that I couldn't. That I had already mourned her once and couldn't go through that again. She didn't argue. Just left. A few weeks later, Claire called. Said there was something I needed to know. Mark wasn't her biological father, she told me. What? She explained everything. How she had told Mark he was the father when she reached out, hoping to give Elena a sense of identity. He believed her, wanted to believe her. And Elena, hungry for something she thought she'd been missing, never questioned it. No test was done. Claire admitted she never knew for sure who the father was. When Elena found out the truth after Mark's death, it shattered her. All that connection, that fantasy, gone. Claire said Elena had been in therapy, that asking me to walk her down the aisle had been her first step toward making things right. But I didn't feel broken. I had loved fully, given everything, and I wasn't going to let myself be the fallback just because someone else fell away. I wrote Elena a letter, not to hurt her, to be honest. I told her I had raised her because I loved her, not because I had to, that I respected her choice to leave, but love doesn't wait quietly in the dark. I wished her joy, a beautiful life, but I was not a stand-in. I was the beginning, and she walked away from that. She didn't reply, until 3 weeks later. A voicemail, her voice trembling. "I'm sorry, Dad," she said. "I know I don't have the right to call you that anymore. I was wrong. I was young. I wanted something, and I blamed the only person who never lied to me. I played it 3 times, then deleted it. I didn't know what to do with it. Felt like a knock on a door I'd already closed and walked away from. A few days after, I saw her by chance. She was leaving a cafe, laughing with a friend. She looked thin, different. But the way she moved her hands as she talked, it was the same little girl who used to beg for sleepovers. I stood there a moment. Then I turned and walked away. That night I couldn't sleep. Her voice haunted me. Not the words, just the weight of them. I called Claire again, asked how Elena was doing. "She's lost," she said. "But she's trying." She said Elena talked about me in therapy. A lot. I didn't respond. What could I say? 3 days before the wedding, I got another letter. Handwritten. She didn't ask again. She didn't beg. She just told me the truth. "I know I don't deserve it. Not the walk, not your blessing. But I needed you to know you didn't just raise me. You made me. Everything good in me came from you. I chased something I thought I needed and turned my back on the one person who never asked for anything from me. That's what shame is. And I've carried it every day. I didn't ask you to walk me down the aisle because I needed someone to fill in. I asked because I wanted to be able to tell my children one day that I tried to make it right with the man who taught me what love looks like." At the end, it said, "Second row. Aisle seat. Right side. I'll leave it empty, just in case." On her wedding day, I stayed home. I didn't dress up. I worked in the yard, mowed the lawn, fixed the gate hinge. By the time the ceremony started, I was sweaty and aching and sitting alone on the porch. I thought about that seat, about her looking back and not seeing me. And I thought about that little girl in the back seat of my car, saying "Dad," for the first time. That was real. A week later, a small envelope arrived. Inside was a photo, Elena in her wedding dress, Daniel beside her, and next to her, Claire. Her expression soft, her eyes not on the camera. And the space beside her? Empty. On the back of the photo, in familiar handwriting, were 4 words. "You were always Dad. Do I regret not going? Some days, yes. Some days, no. But I keep the letter in my nightstand. And the photo on the fridge. Not for forgiveness, but because love, even when it breaks, deserves to be remembered." Parenthood doesn't promise loyalty. It asks for sacrifice with no guarantee. And sometimes, just sometimes, that love echoes back. Not to reward, just to say thank you.